In this video, I want to talk about how to deal with delays that plugins cause when processing audio in Pro Tools. Host-based RTAS plugins and HD-only TDM plugins are both real-time effects. Therefore, it takes time for your computer to process the audio signals that pass through them. This delay is usually measured in number of samples. You can check the amount of delay that a plugin adds to a track by command-clicking on a Mac or control-clicking in Windows on the track's volume indicator here. Clicking here toggles the display from volume to headroom or peak level and then to channel delay. The delay values are shown in number of samples. To show the delay on all the tracks at once, press Option-Command and click on a Mac or Alt-Control and click in Windows, and then toggle to the delay. Some plugins, like the stock EQ plugins in Pro Tools, require very little processing power and very few, if any, samples of delay. We can see here that this EQ plugin on this track does not cause any delay on this track. However, processor-intensive plugins like vocal processors and pitch correction, look-ahead mastering limiters like DigiDesign's Maxim plugin, and noise reduction plugins can have much larger delays. And the delay literally adds up. The total delay of a track is equal to the sum of all the delays from all the plugins on that track. However, this delay often isn't too much of an issue when mixing, except when trying to keep two tracks time-aligned that have the same signal source. For example, if you've recorded an acoustic guitar with several mics and one DI track, you'll want all of those tracks to stay time-aligned to avoid acoustical phase cancellation. Those tracks can become unaligned if you add plugins to one of the group tracks and not the others. Another scenario in which a plugin delay can affect a track is if the plugin has a massive amount of delay, such as the 1024 samples of delay that the DigiDesign Maxim plugin causes. Let me show you. Right there. A track with a delay this large will end up sounding behind the rest of the tracks in the session in time. Let's go for an extreme example. I'm going to add 5 of these Maxim plugins onto this one track. Now I'm going to play these two tracks and they should be time aligned except for this delay from all of these Maxim plugins. Let's check it out. Very much rhythmically out of time with each other. Now Pro Tools HD is the only version of Pro Tools that has automatic delay compensation that could handle a problem like this. It actually automatically pushes all tracks forward in time to match up with the track that has the most delay. Pro Tools LE and Empower don't have automatic delay compensation. However, you can manually compensate for the delay in two ways. One way is to add the Time Adjuster plugin. Look at that here. And if you put this on all the other tracks and then adjust the number of samples of the delay, in this case I've already typed in 5120 samples, which matches what we have here, then this track will be delayed as much as this other one, and they should be in time together. Let's have a listen. It worked. Another way to manually compensate for the delay is to nudge or move any track with the delay back in time, that is, towards the beginning of the session, and move it back the same number of samples as are shown in the track's display view right here. If you do this, I highly recommend making a duplicate playlist on the track before moving the region so that you can easily get back to the original track position if need be. So let me do that. I'm going to duplicate this. And now, what I'm going to do is actually go to spot mode. And because I know that the delay is 5120 samples, I'm going to move this back in time, 5120 samples, which turns out to be 70480. And I'll click OK. And then you see that it actually moved this region. So now I'm going to go over to this track and make this plugin inactive so that there's no delay on this track anymore. So this is back in its original position. and this track has been moved forward to compensate for this delay right here. And if I press play, they should be perfectly time aligned again. It worked. Now what about delay with virtual instruments, external MIDI devices, and rewire applications, like if you're using Propellerhead's Reason software with Pro Tools? Before starting a mix, in most cases I recommend recording all audio from your external MIDI devices, virtual instruments, or rewire applications that are in use in your session. Then mute all MIDI tracks and inactivate any virtual instrument plugins and rewire applications before mixing. This will free up system resources for more processing power for mixing and ensure that no additional delay is incurred from virtual instruments and rewire signal routing. And let me show you how to do this. I'm going to scroll down here. We've got an instrument track with MIDI Grand on it. Assuming that we had performance data, we would actually record the output from this track onto bus 7 and 8. And then we'll pick it up at the input here, 7 and 8 again, on this audio track, and simply record the output from this virtual instrument track onto this audio track. And then we can take this entire track and make it inactive. And that reclaims any processing power that we had going to the Mini Grand and this entire track. As an added bonus, having your virtual instruments, MIDI, and rewired tracks as audio means that you can easily apply plugin effects to them within Pro Tools. So now you know how to compensate for plugin delay within Pro Tools.